this guy right here, the Surface Pro 6, and why and how and so forth, that I've been using it as my primary computer for the good part of a year now. I use this laptop to do all my editing, all of the videos that you've seen on this video, all the videos that you can see on all the videos that are on this channel, and all the photos on my portfolio and my Instagram have been edited on this guy right here. Anything else would have been edited, I hate that word, on my phone in Lightroom, but normally on this. Now first, I should explain that this is not like the entry-level configuration of this device. I do have, it is a higher end version of it, so the specs for it, it has a 9th gen Intel i7 core processor, so that is the highest end processor you can get on this. It is a really high end processor on its own. I only got 8 gigs of RAM on it. I wanted to get 16 when I initially got it, but I am tight on my funds. I am a college student. I don't make a lot of money doing anything aside from my regular job, at which I work part-time. I did buy it with the keyboard, as you can see here, and in this fancy little B-roll I like to take, as well as I got it with 256 gigs of storage, which you can get more than that. Honestly, you can get up to 512, but for nowadays, it's not really that much storage, and this is not where I put all my storage. I do take a lot of things into consideration as a creator and as a student to where I can get the most out of this device. So this device, when I bought it with the keyboard, it went and the charger, it went for just around $1,500. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a laptop / tablet. It's a lot. Some people may ask why I don't just use an iPad, or even like some people. I know a lot of kids now in school are using Pixelbooks and Google's hardware, which I find very interesting. I really like Google as a company, but their hardware, I'm not the biggest fan. The reason why I use this is because I am a Windows user. I always have been. It's my preferred OS. It's what the majority of the world uses, and I just prefer the UI and the overall experience in Windows. As well as I use Adobe Creative Cloud for all of my creative purposes. So I'm not a big fan of Final Cut Pro. I'm not a big fan of Apple's apps in OS. Some people may disagree with me. I know people love their Macs and their iPads. I understand that. I've never been a really big fan of Macs and Mac OS. I do use an iPhone and I do like iPads. But I wanted to get something that I can use. I wanted to get something that'll work as a laptop, that will be very versatile and light, that I can take wherever I go, and I could also use it for all of my creative purposes, whether it be editing a video, or a photo, or drawing. This guy does it all, and it's perfect for that. And it's very light, very sleek design. I love the design of Microsoft Surface line. I think it's really the only line of laptops right now, line of devices that can compare to Apple's Mac line as well as iPads, as far as its just sleek, simple, very attractive, very aesthetic design with the matte black. It is fingerprinty. Don't let it fool you. That is one downside to me. As much as I love matte black, this is not a perfect rendition of matte black, but it is. I do still really like how it looks. And the keyboard, well, the keyboard is actually surprisingly very comfortable. I gotta say, it's pretty. It's a little clicky. If you prefer a clicky keyboard, I know a lot of Mac users like their clicky keyboard, so it's around there, but it's not too bad. It's not too loud. Has a great touchpad, and as well as it's very comfortable with this sort of suede. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I'll show it here. Whatever this material is called, this suede-like material. It's just very lightweight and just so intuitive in its design to me. It's not the best tablet though. If you're looking for a tablet, the best one on the market right now is the iPad. It's really simple as that right now. And I mean, I'm someone who even uses an iPhone, and I've used Androids, and I really like Android UI. I love Android OS. But when it comes to not even just like build quality and specs, really more of just the software when it comes to using a tablet. I don't even know what it is, or what separates a tablet so much from a phone and a laptop, that it's just this weird in between that Apple has just nailed so well with the iPad. This guy does work pretty well as a tablet, not gonna lie. It's just as far as the UI, it's not as intuitive as an iPad. If you're someone who's very familiar with Windows 10, you'll probably really like this thing, both as a laptop and a tablet. I know I do. I'm a really big fan of Windows and a really big fan of Microsoft. I really just like having this guy as a very light device that has enough power to where I can run Adobe Premiere and Photoshop and Lightroom very well. I can render photos and videos up to 4K and 16 megapixels, even up to, I want to say, 40 and 64 megapixels I've had before with RAW files. I can run some pretty surprisingly big files and applications with this thing. Not the best for gaming though. I'm not the biggest fan of laptops when it comes to gaming in the first place. This is definitely not a device I would recommend for gaming. Unless you're doing very low-end games that don't require a lot of processing power, like Minecraft or League of Legends or Team Fortress 2. Those are all great games, by the way. Not knocking them at all. I play them myself. Not the biggest fan of League, but to each his own. In fact, I do have Minecraft on this, and I do play Team Fortress 2. And it runs just fine. This is not, you shouldn't be running, you know, Crysis or even like Apex Legends on this thing. Definitely not going to be running, you're definitely not going to be running Battlefield 1 very well on this guy right here. But that's not what it's for. It's just, I think it's a great device for a college student or a commuter, someone who is constantly working on the go. You need to bring work with you. You like getting a lot of study and work done at Starbucks or at the library, and you like to be very productive with your devices. I can highly recommend it. Now, am I going to be upgrading to the Surface Pro 7? Not anytime soon. It's not a bad product. I'm not knocking it at all. It's just not a significantly higher upgrade from this one. In fact, I recommend if you're trying to save some money, you should just go with the Surface Pro 6 now in 2019 to 2020, and then upgrade it later in 2020 to 2021 if you really want to get the next big 2-in-1 or even just a really nice lightweight laptop come that time around. I also don't plan on getting the Surface Pro X. Also not necessarily a bad product, but that one is for an even more smaller specific group of people, to me anyway. Otherwise, I'm kind of just confused and I'm not really into it. With the Surface Pro 6, and maybe if I was to get it, I would have I would give that device a video of its own. Let me know in the comments if you want to know more about my thoughts on that product. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to say that I do really like that it's smaller, and I like the design of it. Really, the big issue with the Surface Pro X, to me, is ARM is the software that it runs on. It's not full Windows, and so it can't really run full Windows-based applications. Like for example, you can't run the full versions of Adobe Creative applications like Adobe Premiere or Photoshop or Lightroom. You need to use an ARM-based version, basically a 32-bit version rather than a 64-bit version. So it runs a lot slower, and it's not the best for productive use, which I found to be the best use for this product. That's why it confuses me, is that the Surface product line seems to me to be very effective for working productively and a little bit recreationally, more casually, for like students and commuters, or even for traveling. This thing is great for traveling if you're a vlogger. It'll get the job done, arguably just as good as a Mac can, simply based on processing power. And again, that depends on your configuration and how much you're willing to pay for it. But also, this thing is still a lot cheaper than a Mac, even at its highest configuration of an i7 with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage. It's not bad, relatively speaking, that is. But if you want something that's light and simple, you can take anywhere and you can get work done on it, or if you just want to play Minecraft here and there, I can definitely recommend this if you are a Windows user. It basically just works for everything that way for me. I do plan on eventually building a PC so that way I can run much larger applications and get even more work done a lot faster than what this can process at. But even so, like this has a better processor than a lot of gaming PCs and laptops, let alone consumer level laptops that you can just get from companies like Dell or the Pixelbook line. Like this guy is no joke for what you get. And really, because of that very simple versatility that fits in for me, I haven't really needed to use any other product for this entire year as a creator. And I mean, call me a minimalist, but I'm pretty proud of it. So I'm not saying, go and just take on this challenge and use such a simple product for an entire year. I know some people were going about the iPad challenge of using only an iPad for a week, which is pretty cool. And the iPad now can work for a lot of people in a lot more versatile ways than it could have in the previous years. But if you're a Windows user and you want something small and that's going to work very effectively, I can definitely recommend the Surface Pro 6, no matter how long you want to use it. Obviously, eventually in the coming years, you should upgrade, but you can use this thing for an entire year. Even now, going into 2020, I'm confident that this guy will get you through your next semester or a year in school. Or if you even just run Excel spreadsheets, or you need to write emails, or you want to take it on vacation if you're someone who wants to go above and beyond for your family videos or photos you post on Instagram and Facebook, I gotta recommend this thing. It's great. That's pretty much all I have for it. So, in summary, the Surface Pro 6 is still a fantastic product. It's definitely worth buying in 2019, going into 2020, considering that the higher configurations on the Surface Pro 7 and Surface Pro X, yes, they're great if you're getting a brand new one, sure, but if you want to see some money, the Surface Pro 6 is still a great choice, especially if you're looking for something that's very small and thin and lightweight and very comfortable and just versatile for getting work done and maybe running a few games or two, or if you're just watching Netflix or Hulu. That appeals to a lot of people. So if you're interested in buying this product, just check out the link in the description. It'll take you straight to Amazon, and if you have Amazon Prime, maybe you can get it tomorrow. But with that, I think that's all I really have for today. But remember, have a fantastic day.